What do you do, baby? It's your boy Daniel, back with another video. Today we have actually an install video. So I recently, well not recently, like a couple months ago, I installed a CRV head unit in my 2015 Civic Si. And I don't know if you guys know or not, for those of you who own one of these cars, but these CRV head units actually were given an update that allowed them to have Apple Carplay. And so it was just a software update that needed to be done. Anyway, long story short, I installed one, and the dash kit that is used from a 2014-2015 SI doesn't look great. I'll attach a picture here, so I remind myself when I'm editing this. And so just to do that, and it looked okay, right? Like you use the stock brackets, which I actually have right here. I'm not sure if you guys can see these, and they hold the stock stereo into place so that it doesn't move around. But you don't need that with this new retrofit that I've done, thanks to the help from a couple guys on Facebook and people helping me along the way. So I'm just gonna do a quick install video. I already installed it. I'll show you guys sort of what it looks like. So it has the same carbon bezel that my old one did, but if you can see, it has this like black insert here that holds it into place and makes it look a lot better. I still didn't install it perfectly, so that's kind of why I'm doing this today. Is I already installed it, but I'm going to take it apart for you guys and show you what I'm working with. So yeah, that's kind of... And for the install, honestly, I just have one of these like screwdrivers that can take different heads. Shout out to my girl for this, and a bunch of different heads. I think you're going to need like Star, Phillips, or like a flathead, because they're all Phillips head bolts that are under there holding it. There's only like 4, I think, that you have to take off, and then everything comes loose. So yeah, so let's get into it. So basically, all you really need to do first is you need to pop this cubby open, and I'm gonna try and get a good view here. I'm gonna use, so right here where my finger is, there's going to be a bolt, and then on the other side there's also going to be a bolt. You're going to have to remove those, and then this whole cubby assembly is going to come out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Alright, and we back. So once you get those 2 screws out from under here, then literally all you do is put your hand right where the cubby, top of the cubby is, and you pull, right? And this whole cubby assembly is going to come out. Make sure to close it so that you don't clip this little piece right here. See, when you open this piece comes up, this piece right here, and so it won't allow it to go in. So when we're reinstalling it, we're gonna have to make sure it's closed. But yeah, and so this comes out, so you can set this aside. And now we have 2 more bolts, one right here where my finger is, and one right here. And so you take these out, and then you'll be able to remove your whole bezel. And this is held in by clips, so clip here, clip here, clip here, and clips along the top and along the side, and then I'll show you all about the vents and stuff like that. So it's a really straightforward install, and I'm glad it's so easy because the outcome is worth it. And honestly, like, the overall price for this, it varies. I got the head unit for like 200 bucks, and then the bezel I had to buy new, so it was a little expensive. But if you can find both of these things used, great. Excuse me. And so yeah, like it's super chill, like, and it works so good. And now that it looks better, it's like awesome. So let's go ahead and I'll remove those bolts, and then I'll show you guys how to pull the bezel out so that you can go ahead and get started removing. All right, so now that we've gotten these screws taken care of, you don't have to worry about these ones here on the side so much, but more so these ones here. And so now the whole bezel is free, so you can kind of just start tugging at it, and if you see, it'll start to just pop out really easily. If you have one of those trim piece tools, that'll help you a lot. But just, you know, carefully sort of pull on it, right? And different angles help. I'm doing this with one hand, so that's why it's a little tough. And there you go. The whole bezel comes free now. And then if you had the 14-15 SI, you would actually have these brackets to deal with. So I can kind of show you. But basically the way these work is they align on the side of the stereo, right? And then this part goes down here. There's a way up here. I don't know if you can see that. Right here, there would be 2 more bolts holding that bracket, because that bracket literally sits like this. Like the bracket itself sits onto this and then hooks up to the stereo, right? And it kind of like hooks under. I'm not sure if I'm really showing that off the best, but that's kind of what you would be dealing with. A little tricky, but once you get it out, you don't have to reuse those as well. With this retrofit, assuming you have this bezel, you don't need those because the bezel is doing all the work of holding the stereo in for you, which is really, really great. So then the next thing you would have to do is you'd have to pull your stereo, right? And so you need to get behind it here and disconnect all of the connections that are the harnesses and stuff, which are way back here. They don't give a lot of room for that. And don't worry about the vent, that all comes out. Climate controls also have a harness as well as the hazard button. But so yeah, so I will go ahead and take this apart for you guys, and you know, just removing the harnesses and stuff just to get everything free, and then I will come back with you guys. And so just to show you guys real quick, here are some of the harnesses. So you have this green one that goes here, this one gray one that goes here, and this big black one that goes here. And then all of these using like your fingers or a flathead to pull them out. And then I will show you, if you're using a stock 2013 or 1415 SI, you will have this plugged in. I have that plug hanging somewhere, but this I believe is the compass or something like that. And you do not plug this in when using this head unit. And I don't want to damage anything, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this done real quick, see if I can do it with you guys real quick. So all these just plug, unplug, super simple. And then this one here has like a locking tab that you have to push up on. See if I can get it with this. There you go, pop up, and then this comes. All right, back at it. So my head unit came out. And also quickly, I want to mention, if you are doing the swap and you're looking for the CRV head unit, it has to be model 39100T1WA41M1. So it has to be from a 2015, 2016 CRV. Has to be the 7-speaker model so that this all is plug and play. And then it has to be non-navigation because this firmware update will not work with the navigation model. And that plug I was talking about earlier that you leave unplugged, the compass plug, this is what it looks like. It has this shroud around it, and it has a lot of extra slack so you can kind of pinpoint it. And I'll show you guys when we reinstall everything. So once you're this far, if you're doing the radio bezel swap, so if you're using the 2013 bezel, you're gonna have to do a few extra steps, which I did yesterday prior, that are super easy. So let me go ahead and show you. So unplug your climate controls. Again, this one's being a little tough. Go ahead and, come on. I know I should be using a flathead, but I don't want to swap it out, but it looks like I'm gonna have to. Hope y'all's day is going good. Of course, can't forget, shout out to my boy Izzy and Jack. They have been homies and been supporting the YouTube channel. You know, thank you guys for all the constant love on the videos. Like, it's been a weird like roller coaster of like, I don't know if this is like something people want to watch or, you know, something. And wow, this one does not want to come out. So let me cut and I will show you guys once I've gotten it. So of course I got it as soon as I cut, but basically push down on this tab, pull up, and this comes out. And then over here is your hazard, for your hazard button, and then your whole bezel is free. So now I want to show you guys what it is you would have to do if you were swapping from a 2014 to from a 2014-15 bezel to a 2013 bezel. So like essentially kind of downgrading a little bit, but just to get this black trim piece around here, that's a little bit of a better view. So the new bezel will come with none of this. It won't have the vent installed. It will not have the hazard button over here installed. And it won't have your climate controls installed. But all to do to get these free is take these 4 bolts right here. So on the stock one, there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you will take this out and your whole climate control will come out. I would show you guys, but like when I took it out, be careful putting these screws in because the plastic used here, the ABS plastic or whatever it's called, is a little weak, and I actually broke it on one side. I think it was this side when installing on the 2013 bezel. So 1, 2, 3, 4, radio climate controls come out. Then you can go ahead and install the new one. Same holes, same screws, and then also your hazard button. 1, 2 right here, and then this is the plug that we took out, this white plug over here, and then 1, 2, whole assembly comes out. And then the last thing you're going to need to go ahead and take out is your vent, your driver's side vent. So 1, 2, 3, and then the whole vent pulls upward and everything is free. And then from there, now you will transfer everything over to your 2013 Bezel. Everything will plug and play. So putting all the screws back in. And with this vent, heads up, you want to do this side and then this side first. And see, this screw is a little bit loose because this is the one that I broke, you can see. So be careful, don't put too much pressure on these screws. But yeah, so when you're doing the vent, put these two in first and then align this hole. And then the screw goes right in. Don't over torque, you know, they're interior bolts, so go easy on them. And then again, the same thing for this. Everything comes in. That's the hazard button, as you can hear. And then the vent works great. So now to reinstall, everything is kind of the opposite, right? So we would go ahead and we would grab this and we would kind of turn it. And you would want to start by grabbing everything, your harnesses, plugging all your harnesses back in until they click. This one, I don't know if it's going to click, but it's in there. And then same thing with this one over here. Sorry if the angle is not great. I'm doing this with one hand. Click. And now you are good to install. So installing is a little bit easier, but align the vent first is what I found is most helpful. And then kind of just guide everything in, right? And if you can see, here is one of the panel clips and the other clip that goes into the side of the molding. And so kind of line everything up nice and neat, right? And everything, and see, it just kind of fits into place, right? And so right now I would just want to go ahead and push, and everything would work in. So let's go ahead and do that. So push, 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 clip, 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 and it's good. There it is in place, and you can see these holes line up with this. So we can actually go ahead and install those now, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and actually install the radio first, just because that's a little bit of a harder task. And I'm gonna try and show you guys, hopefully I can. So with the stereo, again, let's see if I can figure out how to do this for you guys. The problem is they don't give a lot of slack. So this green cable connects here, the gray cable, single, like 1x1 cable here, and then this black cable here would go here. And then this bottom one here is the one that has the weird clip harness, goes here. Everything fits in one place. And so the only one we will not be using, if you're looking at the stereo from this side and you put it on your leg, it will be this top right or top left plug, because that is the plug I showed you guys earlier. It is this one right here. It is a compass or like some type of plug, and it doesn't work. It will interfere with your CarPlay and will mess with the speedometer if you like to use Waze, or the like location when you're using like maps. And so you want it to be as accurate as possible. And the reason this works is because it uses the location off of your iPhone. And that's also, I want to preface this, this is a beta software update, so it does not use it does not have Android Auto. And so if you were installing this for the first time, most likely your head unit would not have this software installed. There is a write-up I will link in the description for those who need to update the firmware. But when I did it, the main thing I had to do was, it was I think a USB 3.0 stick, and the directions go over it, but you have to first format it to be a FAT32, and then you have to specifically name the USB drive or stick, flash drive, a special like USB 20FD or something like that, and then you go ahead and download the update file from a link sharing website, which is in that write-up that another guy did. And then you will go ahead and you will plug it into this USB port right here. This port over here does not work. The stereo will not recognize it if you try to do it, so don't do that. And also this will be the same plug that works for your CarPlay. If you can see, I have like a shorter cable, so I can just kind of plug it in right here. So yeah, you will plug in your USB, and then once you've got the stereo plugged in, give it a few tries. And one tip that I can give is, and I can try and see if I can find how to show you guys this, but when you use a flash drive on a Windows computer, and do this on a Windows computer, you need to change the default allocation size. So the allocation size of the hard drive, which basically means how much of the flash drive is available for whatever device is needing it to see. So in this case, we want the radio to be able to find the file within the flash drive. So you need to make the default allocation size the default. And so you can do that in the properties of your flash drive if you right click on it. And again, I'll try and find a screenshot, or I can grab a screenshot of it later. And that's how you would make that work. And so then plugging in your stereo, I will attach some screenshots of when I did it and what it looks like. And it will take a few minutes. And I will also link a video of a guy who did this on his CRV, but the process is the same. If you're using a Civic, you'll just use this plugin to make that work. And so yeah, that's like pretty much it, honestly. And then once the head unit boots back up, you will have the CarPlay listing, which I will show you guys once I get this back installed. And then you can go ahead and plug your phone in like normal, and it should boot up. Your phone might ask you like if you want to trust this, or like if you want to be able to use CarPlay without unlocking your phone, which you would go ahead and say yes. And the cool part about this too is if you can have it wired so it charges your phone, or if you want to spend the extra money, you can go on Amazon and buy a wireless box adapter that does wireless CarPlay. So they're like $100, like 80, $100, and all they do is that they plug in to here, and then it transmits a Wi-Fi signal to your phone, and your phone connects to that, and then the radio thinks that CarPlay is being connected through the box, and so then you get wireless CarPlay if that's something you're interested in. And so those are on Amazon. You just type in like wireless CarPlay box, and it's used for cars that have stock CarPlay, which in this case now we do. And so yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and plug everything in, and remember, do not plug this piece in. So it's gonna be this cable right here. You do not need to plug that in. It is not necessary. So you can go ahead and throw that guy to the side. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug everything in for you guys and boot up this head unit so I can show you guys the finished result. All right, took me a little bit, but here's everything installed. And remember, we're leaving this guy over here untouched, but everything fits in one way and only fits into one port. So don't worry about messing this up. I am not tech savvy at all. Like, I'm a dumbass, and I was able to figure this out because it's plug and play, literally. That's what makes this swap so good, is that it's plug and play. That you don't have to splice any wires. You don't have to have any harnesses. Everything works as it should from the factory, because this is a factory head unit. And again, remember, A41 model. You can find it used on like eBay or through a junkyard, or I think you can buy it new from Honda Parts now, but very expensive, like $3,000 expensive. And same with the bezel. So think about if you're really wanting to do the swap, I highly recommend it. A great way to get CarPlay for cheap, but you just have to source out your parts and just be patient. And so yeah, everything is plugged in minus that compass cable, and we are good. So now, using the 2013 bezel is super nice because you don't need the brackets in here. I can actually show you because I have my head unit out. This is how the brackets sit. They click sort of on the side right here, and then this bottom piece clicks to that other part I showed you guys earlier. But we don't have to worry about that because we're using the 2013 bezel. And so now you grab and kind of slide in, and then it just sort of falls into place. See, and you can just kind of jiggle it a little bit, and sometimes the cables in the back actually make it a little bit more difficult. So I'm gonna pull it out and like make sure that there's no like cables in the way, and then go ahead and do that again, and then just kind of push it real nice, and it will just sort of line itself up. Right, give it a couple pushes here, and that's honestly it. Here at the top, if you can get it like perfect, sweet, but I was not able to. This is actually better than I did the first time. The buttons have less of a gap and it's more even across, so I actually like this a little bit better. So I'm gonna go ahead and 2 clicks, windshield wiper off, and you can see the rear view camera does work. And the side view camera also works. If I go ahead and click once it boots, there you go. Side view camera on my mirror over here works. Oh, and then because you've done this, I have to hold this and then hit OK. And I will show you guys if you need to retrieve the code, because on some of these you will. There is a website I will link as well, and all you have to do is you have to have the serial number and the VIN of your car. So the Civic that you're using, not the CRV. You don't need that. People were worried about that. No. I figure you're going to be buying this from like a fucking junkyard or something, so don't worry about that. So you will need that. And then once you update the firmware, you will see that it has the Apple CarPlay symbol right there. And you can like customize it, right? And you still have your info screen, so you still have like miles per gallon and history of trips, you can see. And then everything works. And if you hit home, it'll go back home. You have your phone, Honda Link Connect, your settings, and you also have Bluetooth audio if you would like to use that. And the power button works just like on the stock stereo. Turning it off and on does it. And then you can see these buttons work, as well as the steering wheel controls. See, turning it down, as well as skipping through frequencies, and everything works great, which is what's super nice about this system. Everything is plug and play. So I'm gonna go ahead and mute that. And I'm actually gonna show you guys, I have my phone showing me the angles, but I'm gonna go ahead and plug my phone in so you guys can see that CarPlay works, right? So you use your cable, plug it in, and then you'll go ahead and click Apple CarPlay, and it will say loading, and then up here will switch to say apps, and bam, there you go, Apple CarPlay, fully functional. Right, everything you need set up, super nice. Your maps, your phone, your music, which is what's really nice. Pause that. Good thing I don't have the volume, don't want to get copyrighted, as you know. And everything works great. Siri works too.
What do you want to play?
And you can just make her go away by hitting the home button or just not saying anything if you tap on the screen. And then, yeah, all the settings. The response time is pretty good, actually. There's Waze in action. Actually, Waze is really good for cops and stuff like that. Go ahead and click home. And then the settings, you have driving focus, which you can turn on as soon as you plug your phone in, which will like not allow people to call you, or will like automatically send a message to someone and saying like, hey, I'm driving right now, I can't talk. And then you can change your appearance. So how it shows the darkness. I have it on automatic, so it switches with the phone, and and then wallpapers, you know, customization and stuff, Siri and suggestions, sending messages and stuff. And then album art, if you want to not show your album art, you click that off. And then when I go to what I was playing, it just shows me the title. But I personally prefer to have that. So we will go ahead and do that. And then the album title shows up. So, and go ahead and verify that everything works. Try your climate controls as they should. All the buttons should light up and everything. And yeah, that's kind of the swap done. Like, it's really not that hard. And then I will go ahead and install these two screws back for you guys and show you how that all works, putting the cubby back. Once you have those installed right here, I showed those earlier, these two, then you can go ahead and grab your cubby, which I have right here. And remember to keep it closed when you're installing. And literally, you just kind of slot it in, and here's a better view of the two bolt holes that you're going to be installing the bolts back into. So go ahead and close this up, fit it in nice and easy, and line up the two clips with the holes in the chassis, and then just kind of push, and it'll click into place for you real nice. And open the cubby door and push on everything, make sure everything's good, and then go ahead and install those two bolts that I showed you just a few seconds ago, right there and right there. POV, and Izzy, this is for you. I'm about to put it on, and I will show you me getting in the car, turning the car on so that you guys can see. Thanks again for watching, and enjoy a little bit of not spirited, just casual driving. Alright, we are on the chest view now. Hope this looks a little bit cooler. So, Izzy, again, this for you. Stepping in the vehicle. Oh, right. Make sure the angle looks good, which it does. And let's get her on. Very nice. NVIDIA N1 exhaust. Seatbelt, safety first, as always. And plug in the newly for you stereo. Hit OK on that, John. And Apple CarPlay should pop up. My clock's being weird. I will figure that out later. Not a big deal right now. So, let's go for a drive. So this chest mount honestly seems a lot better. It's like less in my face and more so like, I don't know, just better overall. So. How the hell do I get out of here? Go this way. Do. Alright, we're gonna go just a long way. And for those of you who are new, N1 2 3/4 inch exhaust to a PLM catted 3-inch downpipe. Didn't feel like going catless. Just didn't want to deal with emissions and shit like that being in Oregon. So, kind of a pain in the cruise. Guess we can get a small rip here. Oh man, she rips. For being, you know, what it is, being a Civic and like kind of stock, right? It definitely pulls. And obviously this is a healthy K24. It has like 33,000 miles, I want to say. 34 actually. I daily drive, so, you know. Ooh, scat, I think. I can never tell those Chargers and Challengers apart. They all kind of look the same to me. Go ahead and swing her right here. And just a little more POV driving, experimenting with this chest mount. I bought this at Walmart yesterday. And so far it's pretty promising, has good adjustability, and overall is actually like really comfy to use. So I'm excited to use this and see how it works. Out with these potholes because we are on coilovers. We are static. We do not use bags. Bags are for groceries. Just kidding. If you use bags, like, bags are cool, honestly. It's you know, it's always a showstopper too at a meet. Like, you fucking air your car out and everyone's like, whoa, dude. It's like, that's cool. But for me, I was more performance oriented. And wow, that's a big ass fucking pothole. I don't want to hit that. Please, for the love of God, don't hit that. And we're off. Nice weather today, 51 degrees. Oops, turned on my camera. And yeah, oh, something's getting pulled over. Could not be me. We drive very safely in this John, you know how it is. So yeah, I hope this view is good, like it's high enough. I'll check it on the recording after when I go to edit this later on today. But yeah, stereo looks really, really nice. It fits in super nice. And it's actually better than when I did it yesterday, which is really surprising. I actually got a lot better fitment today, so I'm really, really happy with that. And this whole bottom side, this could be pushed in a tad. If you push on it, it actually stayed. If you push on it hard enough, it'll kind of stay. And the really cool thing about the stereo is that it has a built-in CD player, and it Siri's going crazy, and it has the screen that will close and open like that. So super neat stuff. Love this stereo, man. It is a awesome upgrade for very cheap. And yeah, just on a nice little cruise. Stretch the legs of the car. And I still am on stock shifter. Wow, I've got a Camry riding my cock right now. Thanks a lot, big bro. Is your problem, asshole? Yeah, you're a fucking douchebag, pussy boy. With your fucking beard, look at you. Oh my goodness, what a piece of shit. But you know, these are the people we deal with, especially driving a fucking sports car. People think what? That like I'm a shitty driver by default. It's like, no, I'm actually a pretty responsible driver. I let people in and you got stuck behind traffic. Dumb shit. Get trolled. LOL. Clown. Bozo. Plus ratio. But yeah, so this is just like a cool little cruise. Get to show off the stereo a little bit. I'd play music, but I don't know how copyrights law fully work on YouTube yet. I'm still pretty new to YouTube. So we're just taking a nice little cruise around town today. Weather's not raining. It wasn't pissing down rain. I went to Chick-fil-A earlier today and it started pissing down rain and I forgot my coat, which was super sweet. But yeah, so just a nice little cruise, get some downshifts. Tuned by Yash Tuned, E-Tune. So I have my cat back and down pipe, and then I have an intake, and then a custom tune by him. And if you've never E-Tuned before, basically what he does is it's like, he sends you an email with like a base calibration of your car, and then you use your Honda Flash Pro or your K-Tuner. I think he prefers Honda Flash Pro, to be honest, but if you have K-Tuner, I think he will do it. And you can do a data log and then use your computer and take that data log and send it to him in an email, and then he will send it back with revisions, and you will go through that process a few times until your car is fully tuned. I believe mine took like 8 revisions or so, with the downpipe, because obviously more exhaust gases are escaping faster, and so your car is going to run lean. It's going to mess with your AFR, your air fuel ratio. So just be wary of that, and make sure you have a Honda if you're doing any mods. And there are other great tuners too. I've heard Rob Rainier, I believe, and there's Derek somebody, and then Yosh. Kyle Handy used to be a good tuner before I got into this car, to this platform, but he fell off and like hasn't been responding to people and taking their money, so I do not recommend him. Nobody uses him anymore. Kyle Handy Bill, no longer, unfortunately. I never got a chance to talk to the guy. I don't know if he had a family emergency or something, but taking people's money is never cool, so you know, don't do that. But overall, car runs great, idles great, gets good gas mileage too. It's pulling like 25, 35 on the city, which is always really, really impressive for a car like this. You know, it's a small 4-cylinder, but like, you know, being manual, you can definitely help with that a lot. And, you know, really make the car your own. And that's what I've done. Like, I don't see many 9th gens, at least in my area. And so I wanted to make mine as different as possible. You know, it has the carbon hood, has the wheel, the HFP wheels, and, you know, more to come. The goal would be to wide body this car, to be honest. But who knows when that'll happen. So for now, you know, it is what it is. And I did get this. I'm not sure if you guys can see this very well. Let me see if I can turn that. There we go. And my water temp gauge is now working. My oil pressure gauge will be done soon. Hopefully when I get some money to go back to the shop. I have the oil pressure gauge. Amazon sent me the wrong fucking sensor oil adapter. It said it was a 1/8 NPT adapter, but it wasn't. When my mechanic tried to put it in, it didn't work. So I ordered a K-tuned one, and it looks so much better quality. It comes with the crush washers and everything that you're gonna need. So I don't know, it's something about this car, man. It's just fun to drive. Like, even when you're not beating on it, the car just treats you well. And like, you know, it just doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't like fight you, or, you know, and like in my case, I have the rear motor mount installed from Hasport, the 70A thermometer bushing, and that just makes the shift so buttery smooth. It's ridiculous. Like, even people, I saw a post of a guy with a 2023 SI, brand new off the lot, and he's already putting a Hasport mount because the stock rear motor mount is trash. It allows the motor to move so much, and that's what makes your car shake under shifts. And even at wide open throttle, when I'm fucking shifting this thing at like 76 grand, you know, like 7,600 RPM, it's just smooth. And it's just crazy how good that Hasport motor mount works. And I know there are some off brands that people are using, like Innovative, I believe, is one that people are using, and that one seems to be okay, but from my experience, Hasport has been treating me well. I think I've had the downpipe for almost a year now. It's going on a year. I installed it last August, so we're still a couple months shy from being a year, but so far no issues. I did have some issues with like the gasket that came from the downpipe stock, or from the downpipe from PLM, so I accidentally threw away my Honda OEM gasket, so I had to go buy a new one. But ever since then, no issues, which is really great. And then I do plan to be tracking this car. I have some new Michelin Pilot Sport 4s. As I mentioned in the last video, I did end up picking those up, and those are at home, and those will be going back on my blades. And those are a 235, so they're a little bit thicker, so I might have to run spacers. I'm not sure yet. If I do, it will definitely have to be a 5mm. And there's a puppy. Hi, puppy. Oh, it's so cute. Look at the puppy. Oh my goodness. Hi, buddy. You are so cute. But yeah, so just a cool little cruise today, you know, just to show off stereo and all that good stuff, and just to let you guys know that I'm alive, I'm not dead. Just been super busy. Sorry, puppy, I'm gonna have to gap your dad's truck here. And a couple pops and bangs, not like a pop and bang tune where like at every downshift, no, you have to be catless to run something like that. I just have like a little like crackle and pop, I believe that's how Yosh refers it, crackle and pop tune. So it just adds like a little bit of, you know, some sounds that everybody likes, like on the upshifts and the downshifts, and if you're revving on neutral and stuff like that. But I mean, the motor pulls very strong, it's healthy, and you see just a little backfire there, just poof. And yeah, great gas mileage overall, and just, you know, a really fun car to drive, very versatile in what it can do. I'm planning to supercharge this in the near future, hopefully, and just get some more power out of it, you know, pushing that 300, 350 wheel horsepower mark. Not wanting to gap anything crazy, but just being able to compete a little bit, you know, just 200 and being an A, I thought it would be a good idea. And you can build these motors NA, a lot of people have, but it's just they don't perform as well. Like full bolt on these cars really realistically only make like 225, and I'm making 210, and I don't have injectors or a lightweight flywheel or anything like that other people do have, or like the RBC manifold. So, you know, keep that in mind if you own one of these cars and you're thinking about modding it. I definitely recommend the downpipe and the exhaust, and as well as the motor mount. But if you plan on going boost, maybe don't go for the RBC, or, you know, a couple of the, like if you plan to go turbo, don't get a downpipe, because you're eventually going to have to swap that exhaust, that downpipe, with a turbo downpipe. That's usually custom fabricated. I think that's how that works with these cars. And turbo, these cars make a lot of power. They're really, really fun. And that's the thing. The K-Series, man, it is a monster of a motor, because it can take a beating. Like, people boost these cars up to like 400 wheel, and the stock internals take it just fine. Being high revving and stuff like that. So, and the only thing you really have to worry about with these cars is the transmission. After, I think, 350 wheel torque, that's when the transmission might start to slip on you, or gears might start to break, and you can go build gears. I think Gear X is the popular one that people like to use. But other than that, honestly, like, just, you know, this car has been a joy to drive with my gauges now. Reading my water temp was something I didn't like about this car, that it doesn't have a water temp gauge, because it has the VTEC meter instead, which honestly, VTEC meter is kind of stupid. Like, I can tell when VTEC's kicked in. I get the, like, vanity of it, right? It turns into like a shift light. It's really cool, but I don't know. Not a huge fan. So I think that's where I'm going to end the video today, guys. Seriously, again, thank you so much for the support. I really do appreciate it. Hope you guys are enjoying the content. I know there was a bit of a gap between the last video and this one. I hope this video was helpful for those who asked for it. I'm going to be linking it in the 9th Gen Civics Facebook group chat. If you're not a part of that, go ahead and join up. A lot of helpful tips. I mean, I'm posting this video there for all the people who are wondering about this swap. And if you were like on the edge about maybe should I do it, should I not, I highly, highly, highly recommend doing this swap. This swap is huge, dude. It works so great, and it's just, I don't know, man. Like, it's got me stumbling, because it's so free to do this swap and get Apple CarPlay, because paying, you know, so much money for Apple CarPlay just doesn't seem justifiable. If you want wireless CarPlay and maybe you have an Android and you need Android Auto too, then yeah, maybe going that route. Like I said, this one only has CarPlay because it was a beta update. So yeah. Again, if you guys have any questions about, like, if you're doing your update and it's not working for you, go ahead and, like, leave a comment and we can PM through, like, Messenger or something. I'd be happy to help with the tips that I know. But yeah, that's honestly where the video is going to end. Just, you know, I'll go ahead and cut you off. And yeah, thanks so guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell. You know how it is, and I'll catch you later. Peace.